How's everybody doing? My name is Fragrant Derek. You're watching a Fragrant Mind podcast here on Spotify. Right now, we are streaming live on Facebook and YouTube. So if you're on the live, thank you for joining us. If you're watching us post live, meaning tomorrow after 9 a.m., mind you, today's Monday. So yeah, Tuesday after 9 a.m., after the day after Memorial Day. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely hit that subscribe button and follow. I love you guys, man. I love doing what I'm doing. So today we have another great episode for you guys. We have Lawrence from the TikTok channel Law of Fragrances. This is a super cool dude. That it's just an interesting guy. I always love his content. I did a video with him a while back, and I really like the vibe that we had together. I like watching his content, super interesting. And he's had some pretty decent growth on TikTok. I think he's at like 60 or 65K right now. So he's making some headwinds. And I'm excited to get him on because, I like his passion for scents, but also like I kind of want to see how he is in person. And I haven't had a whole lot of time to really talk to him or kind of get his personal vibe. But just from seeing him on camera, he seems super cool. So I think this is going to be an awesome episode. Anyway, let's go ahead and roll the intro, and we're just going to get right into it because I don't want to give you guys a huge, crazy thing. But anyway, so let's roll that intro, and we're going to bring him on. See you guys in a minute.
Welcome to A Fragrant Mind podcast, the ultimate fraghead show featuring Fragrant Derek.
Look good, feel good, smell good.
Yo, what's going on, guy?
What's up, bro? How you doing, man? Thank you for having me on here.
I'm doing good, man. So if, like I said, I just did the intro, but if you guys are just tuning in, this is, Lawrence, man, from Law of Fragrances on TikTok, right?
What's up?
So,
yeah, I mean,
yeah, man. Like I've been watching you for a while, and I just love your vibe, the way you describe scents, and you seem like somebody that I'd be down with if we were like in person. You know what I mean? Like if I saw you in person, you would maybe be a bit unassuming, but I feel like we would vibe really well.
Thanks,
just
bro.
from watching your videos and Anyway, so let me ask you a question, man. Like, what got you into TikTok? Like, what made you all of a sudden get on TikTok and go, "Hey, I want to talk about smelly water"?
My wife, bro. My wife was. So here's the thing. Okay, so I mean, if you ask anybody, any one of my friends that's known me for a long time, I've always been into fragrance. So, but around, I want to say it was around the time that Aventus got released, because I'll tell you why. Because I always rock designer stuff, and one day my friend's like, he pulls me in the car, and he's like, Lawrence, he's like, I got a fragrance for you. He's like, I know you've never smelled, and this is better than anything you've ever smelled. I was like, all right, what is it? And it was Aventus. He busts out a bottle of Creed Aventus. Now, what hurt me was that he kept it in his car, and I'm like, why are you keeping a fragrance that expensive in your car? But that was a whole nother story. So he's like, I know you've never smelled anything. He's like, take it home for the day. He's like, I know you love fragrance. He's like, I know you'll appreciate it. Just bring it back to me the next day or whatever. So I was like, okay. So I took it for the day. Now, this is what I've said, and this is what I've always felt with Aventus.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great scent. I think it's beyond overrated. It's beyond overhyped. But you can tell the quality's there, and especially, only smelling designer. So from then, that's when I started like wanting to know more about fragrances. So, I started watching a little bit of content. Now, at the time, there weren't that many, like there is now. It's just like saturated as all hell. But, so one of the guys that really caught my eye, and you've had him on the podcast, I've talked to him on the phone and everything, he's cool, is Red Adolescence, Steven.
Yeah.
And I just liked his style. I know everybody was into Jeremy. I wasn't into him. So Steven caught my vibe. So he would always talk about certain fragrances. So and this is kind of where the obsession grows. This is why it's a long story right now. I'm talking too much. He mentioned Amouage. So at that point, I was like, you know what? Let me get some decants from Lucky Scent. I want to try. So Interlude was one of them that caught my eye. And I can't remember. I think it was Epic Man, or I forget exactly what the second one was, but I think it was Epic Man. And bro, the day I got it, and I remember I dumped the whole decant. Lucky Sand doesn't give you big decant, but I dumped the
Mm.
whole decant of Interlude accidentally. So for hours, I was just projecting. My wife at the time, she was my girlfriend, was mad. My sister was
Mhm.
like, "Yo, this is way too strong." My dad was like, "Yo, this is way too strong." But I had never smelled anything like that. And so at that
Yeah.
point, I was like, I need to delve into niche because designers are cool, and I love a lot of designers. Don't get me wrong, but if this is Interlude and this is something I've never smelled anything like, again, even Aventus with the quality that it was, I'm like, man, I need to really delve into this. So the obsession grew. So what happened was, now let me get into what started. So at that point, I started buying a lot. My wife was like, Lawrence, she's like, you're buying way too many damn fragrances. But she's like, you have this weird obsession with perfume. She's
Yeah.
like, why don't you get on TikTok and
Hmm.
start talking about it, reviewing? And I'm like, there's already reviewers out there. And like, like who's going to want to listen to me
Mm.
versus listening to somebody else? So she's like, just give it a try. Just give it a try and see what, because she's like, obviously you're passionate about it and it's there. So just do it. She's like, and if you don't feel, she's like, if you feel like after a few months it doesn't work, because I mind you, I had an MMA channel on YouTube and that shit flopped. So,
Mm.
I kind of already had experienced some failure with that. So I was like, that already
Yeah.
kind of also had me like not want to get into it because I'm like, which is stupid. It's now looking back at it, I'm glad I didn't have that mindset because even if you fail, you got to jump up and try something else. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that didn't stop me, but I was hesitant about it. But my wife was
Mm.
like, "I'll help you out. Let's do it." And what made me want to keep going was the feedback that I was getting. People were like, "Dude, you have like this passion and like you're excited about it. Like I'm gonna follow you." And I'm just like, "Word, this is dope. Okay, cool." So, and then just the interactions I was getting, and then from there, it just kind of went from there. And I was like, "All right,
Yeah.
I guess this is fun, and I love it, and it's something I love." And that's the thing. I've
Mm.
been obsessed with it for so many years. So I was like, "Let me just further that obsession into now doing reviews." And hey, here we are today, bro. And now I'm talking with you.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I mean, I had a similar situation, but you know, it's a grind. It's a grind getting on here and like making videos every day and just you know, but doing something that you enjoy, that you're passionate about, and then also like it expands on your passion,
Yes.
because you're just always learning and growing and evolving, and like you talked about, like pivoting, going from one thing to the next and just continuing to push forward. Like it's probably one of the most rewarding but also challenging things to do is social media,
Oh yeah.
and it takes a ton of focus. Cause like I'll be honest, like being on social media, you get lost in the scrolling. You just scrolling, and then you're like, wait a minute, I gotta produce right now. Like I gotta refocus and get some content out. But
True.
yeah, like it's crazy because your energy is so elevated when you're talking and you're on camera. You know what I mean?
Thanks, bro.
And you have this like commanding presence.
Oh,
And
thanks,
it's
man.
super. Yeah, dude, definitely. And it's impressive. Um, and like you know it's weird, like some people when you see them on camera you have to stop and watch, and I feel like you kind of have that ability where it's like,
Thank you.
all right, I have to watch this, like there's something about this guy that I have to watch, and I just, yeah, so I think you have that quality, so I think that's
I
cool.
appreciate you. Thank you, bro.
But I'm curious about something, because so on TikTok you go by Law of Fragrances, but I've seen other places you go by Jufro Fragrances. So please explain Jufro, because here's the thing. I believe you're Jewish, but what the hell's, you don't have a fro? So where did that come from? Did you used
Well,
to have a
so
fro?
well now I do. It's just this is gelled, so it's gone back. No, but here's what
Okay.
happened.
Yeah.
So many years ago, before social media, I
Yeah.
had grown out my hair and
Right.
it got super long. So my sister, shout out to my
Yeah.
sister, and my cousin were like, Lawrence, you have like a Jew fro. And so they would just walk around, they would just tell me, hey, this Jew fro, Jew fro.
Yeah.
So at the time, because of COVID and stuff and not getting haircuts and everything, I had a fro. So if you go back all the way to the beginning when I first started, you see
Mm.
my hair was kind of long and it was kind
Yeah.
of puffy. So I was thinking, I'm like, you know what would be a good name? You know, my sister and my cousin used to call me Jufro. So
Yeah.
I'm like, let me go with Jufro Fragrances. Now, the reason why I changed the name, and okay, so again, now people started coming onto my channel and bringing this about politics and stuff, about what was going on in Israel and Palestine. Now, mind you, let me tell you, and anybody who's religious, that's cool if that's your thing. I'm not religious. I
Yeah.
have spiritual beliefs and everything, but none of it falls into Judaism or anything like that. And
Yeah.
so the thing
Well, a
is
lot of people don't realize that, like, being Jewish doesn't mean you are, in fact, a Jew, like, religious wise. I mean, so a lot of people don't know, and I think I might have touched on it with you. Technically, I have Jewish DNA, right? Like, my biological father is Jewish. Mind you, my mother's not, meaning I'm technically not a Jew according to Jewish law or whatever. But, I mean, genetically, I'm half Jew, right? So, but, like, when it comes to, there's a divide between church and, like, genes, you know? So, and I have a lot of friends that are Jewish that don't practice, like they're non-practicing Jew or whatever. So yeah, and I mean, I think a lot of people don't understand that, you know.
And so it started becoming, here I'm talking about city rhythm, and someone's like, free Palestine, fuck Israel, and I'm like, bro, like, sorry, I cuss a lot too, so
Nah,
that's
you're good, man. Yeah, go for it.
So and I'm just like, bro, what does this have to do with city rhythm or any other perfume I'm talking about? And mind you, like, again, I'm not pro-Israel or pro-Jewish, nothing like that. Like, it's just my culture. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like, it's blood, you know what I mean?
So I was just like, man, like, I don't want my channel just constantly having this. So I was like, you know what? Let me just change it. And I'm like, I mean, I still say Jufro like after every video because that moniker stayed with me, and I didn't, and plus, like I said, that was my nickname given to me way before anyway. So I was just like, I just changed it to Law of Fragrances, and especially my name being Lawrence, Law kind of,
it works.
It is. So
I was also curious, like I'm like, is this dude a lawyer? Like, is he a lawyer talking about scents?
No,
I was wondering that too, you know what I mean? Law of Fragrances, like maybe. But then when I found out your name was Lawrence, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Do you ever go by Larry or just Lawrence?
So now this is okay. Now I don't know if this will make sense to people because I think this commercial only was in LA. So because I grew up, I'm originally from Los Angeles. So there was this mattress guy, and they used to do in the skits. They used to go, "You're killing me, Larry," and so I'm like, "Oh my god!" So then people would tease me, and they'd go, "You're killing me, Larry," and I'm like, "Bro, like no Larry, none of this." And so and then it's just, I didn't like the name. I never liked Larry, so I'm always like Lawrence. Plus, like I said, like my friends tease me and they'll go, "You're killing me, Larry." If you're from LA, you'll understand the joke. If you're not from LA, it's gonna sound weird to you. So it's just like I said, it's a sleep mattress guy in LA. If you find,
I think every town has that one mattress guy. You know what I mean? There's always that. There's the mattress guy, and then there's the car dealer guy, right?
Yes.
Everyone's got the eccentric car dealer guy, and then everyone's got the eccentric mattress guy. Here we have, what the hell is it called? There's Bob's Furniture here in New England, and he does like it's like a cartoon of himself, and it's like, I can't remember his thing, but it's like Better at Bob's. I can't remember it, but it's a really crazy thing. And also, like, all his furniture is super cheap and like crappy. You know what I mean? He's like the Kia of furniture.
Okay.
And then we have another guy that is a super sleazeball, and everyone knows he is. And he used to do it with his wife. It used to be him and his wife, and then at one point he divorced his wife, and now he's with like a 20-something-year-old, and he wears like his hair slicked back in a ponytail, and he's like in his 60s, and they do a deal where, like, if the Red Sox win or something, then you get like 50% off a match. I don't know. It's stupid.
That's fun.
But I'm like, what sleazy business? You know what I mean? Like, at one point, did they go, "Hey, we sell mattresses. Let's just be sleazeball salespeople." You know what I mean?
It's me, the car salesman. I get it, especially because I used to sell cars. Not that I was a sleazy salesman, but
No, I did that too, and honestly, it's car. When you learn like how the process of car sales go, it's like, like now when I go to buy a car, I don't even like. because I know all the tips and tricks and what they're
Exactly.
trying to do, why they're asking certain questions and all that stuff. They're profiling you. They're trying to figure out your credit before they even ask and all this stuff. So it's I don't know. I
Yeah.
hate it. I'm
Same.
literally like, if I'm buying a car, I'm going online. I'm gonna find something. I'm securing financing before I go. You know what I mean? I want to walk in and just be like, look, I already take care of, just write it up. You know
That's
what I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
Just write
And
it up.
the good thing is, so that like when my wife needed a car and everything,
Yeah.
I just got out of the dealership. I got out of the sales job, and
Mm.
so my one of my friends that I'm still cool with today, he was
Yeah.
selling it. So he hooked me up, and we avoided all that nonsense because it was a friend, and we were in the same
Yeah.
dealership, so it kind of made it easier because I had them. But
Yeah.
since then, luckily, I haven't had any need to get a car.
Yeah. Well,
So
it's good when you know someone, you know what I mean? You say, give me the best price where you're making it worth your while and I make it worth mine. I'll make it easy for you. Boom, boom, boom. Just get it done. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because when you're spending a whole half day writing in a deal and everything, I don't want to do that shit. I
Same.
want to be in and out in an hour.
Same.
Make it easy.
Same.
Because the thing is, when you go to buy a car, it's exciting, and then it's all day of this, and then you leave and you almost resent the damn thing. It takes you 2 weeks to even appreciate that you have a new car. Because every time you look at it, all you think about is that horrible process of getting it. You know what I mean? It's not a good. It's who wants that? Like, who wants to run a business that every person you sell something to resents you? You know what I mean? You know.
And then they start having questions like, "Did I get screwed?
Oh,
Did I
of
get
course. Yeah, there's always that. Of course, absolutely. It's wild, man.
It's wild for sure.
It's a wild, dirty industry. It's like
Yes.
Wild West type shit.
Definitely.
But I don't know.
I'm glad I'm out of it.
Oh, dude. Like, I mean, I still work in sales, but luckily now, I own my own business, and a lot of what I do is selling. But like now, my product is me, so it's more genuine. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's like, it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's manipulation is what it is. But I learned something years ago where like they were talking about everything in life is sold to us. Don't matter what it is, everything.
It's true.
So like being a salesperson is something inherently that we're born with. We're born with it. Like a 2-year-old, right? You go to the store, a 2-year-old wants a candy bar. What are they doing? They're selling to their mom the whole time. Mom, please, mom. I'll do my room. I'll clean my room.
Or something. Yeah.
I'll do my chores. I'll love you forever. I'll be your best friend. Like that's all they're doing. They're trying to sell, build value, right? That's children inherently have that ability from the day they're born. So, even babies, when they cry, they're, you know what I mean? They're telling you, I need this from you, or I'm going to do this. You know what I mean? So it's just, we're all born with it. We're all inherently salespeople,
Exactly.
Going on a date, you're selling who you are, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like something that only certain people do, but, even like, to take it back to being a fragrance influencer, like it's, being a reviewer. Yeah. We're trying to, I don't know. I don't do a lot of like affiliate stuff, and I don't do a lot of like brand partnering. I mean, and I recently I started watching some stuff where they were, a lot of the big influencers are coming out now saying, oh, don't trust decant houses. Don't trust this. Don't trust that. You know what? If you're in the community and you do your research, you know who to trust and who not to. You know who's going to burn you and who's not. If you're green and you're not really in this that much, then you have to follow your gut instinct and, do your research, do your due diligence always. Don't just go, oh, that's a crazy good deal, I'm going to jump on it, because there's probably a reason it's,
So it's funny because, I tell people all the time, because I've gotten this question since the day I started my channel, and people are like, Baccarat Rouge, oh my God, it's $80. And I'm like, bro, like,
yeah,
Neiman Marcus is selling it retail for $500 or something. Okay.
I know. Yeah.
Even if you're getting it, which, like I said, now I don't think you can really find it at discounters, but when you were able to find it at discounters, it was $300 something. Who in their right mind would sell it for $80?
Exactly.
Like be logical.
It's common sense, but people are just. I had the same situation today, and it wasn't even with an expensive fragrance. It was with arrows, like a bottle of arrows. I was offering it online. I was selling a bottle, and I think I was asking like 45 for it, 100 mil, fair price, whatever.
Yeah.
You go to Ulta, they're gonna charge you what, like 110, 115, whatever. So I mean, $45, that's a good price. So this kid messaged me, he's like, "Oh yeah, I want to buy it." I said, "Cool. Go ahead and cash at me. I'll get it sent out." He comes back, he goes, "Oh, I found it on Walmart.com for $37." He goes, "Can you match it?" I go, "No, why would I match it? That's not real." That's not real. He goes, "Oh, of course, it's Walmart." I go, "Dude, look down at the bottom. What does it say for seller? If it's some Chinese name or something, that's not legitimate. That's a fake bottle. You're probably not even going to get what it says it is." The thing about Walmart and Amazon and all these third-party sellers, you have to watch for it.
Exactly.
You can buy fragrances on these websites, but look for sold by, shipped by, right? Who is it sold by? Who is it shipped by? If it says sold by Amazon, shipped by Amazon, you're good.
Yeah.
If it says shipped by or sold by, Jiangzhong Sense, then it's like, well, maybe this has, and also, if it does say that, there are good, legitimate third-party sellers.
Yes, and I know people.
But the way you know it is look at the reviews.
Exactly.
If there's 800 reviews, start looking at the reviews. Do they seem legitimate? The person leaving the review, click on that. Are they leaving other reviews? Or is it the first review? They've only been around for 5 days, and that's everybody. Everybody's brand new, and you got to look at it because people will spam reviews with just all these accounts. They pay for a company to leave reviews to make it look good. So are they legitimate reviews? Are they, you know what I mean? That's the research you have to do, right? So you have to sometimes kind of dig deep if you're looking for that kind of deal. But once again, if the deal looks too good, it's probably not legitimate.
It's probably not. That's the thing. And I have to tell people that all the time. And I'm like, just be logical. Just be logical. Like it's why, especially like, okay, I could maybe understand if we're in the 70s, there's no social media. So it's hard to really understand that, hey, like, I can't see what this is really going for by so many other people selling it. But with today's technology, the information that's available to us, nobody should be asking these questions about, oh my God, Baccarat selling for 80. I'm going to pull the trigger. Like, bro,
right. But you have to understand, though, a lot of people, especially if they're not in the fragrance community, and I mean, a lot of people don't understand that just like a Gucci bag is going to get faked, fragrances are going to get faked. How do these people exist? You go to have you been in New York, right? So you ever been to Chinatown? You know what I'm talking about. Those fragrance guys that are standing out there with them little shops. Oh, yeah, I'll sell you Acqua di Gio for $50. Okay, cool. I'm good. You start walking away. $40. I'm all right. $10. Give me $10. I'll get you a bottle right now.
Yeah, it's like,
okay, wait. You just went from 50 to 10. What am I getting? What is it I'm getting? Oh, look, it's sealed. It's sealed. Bullshit. You know what I mean?
And the crazy thing is now they're making fakes of like Afnan, Lattafa.
Well, they're making fakes of fakes, which is crazy to me.
Which is wild. Which is wild to me.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, it's funny because you'll see like the first one I ever recognized was 9 p.m., right? There was 9 p.m. and then all of a sudden there was that Dirigo or whatever the hell. You know what I'm talking about? It said Afnan on one of them, and then the next one it said 9 p.m. Same prez, but down below it's just tiny little like Dibu or I don't know. It was
Divalu, yeah.
Divalu, yeah, that was it. And I'm like, what the hell is this? And then all of a sudden others started popping up, and I'm going, okay, something's happening here.
It's a crazy
well,
game
because I mean, what's weird is the clones are getting so mainstream that you almost can't even call them clones anymore.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know what you would call them.
Yeah, it's almost fit. Weird.
It's weird. They almost fit in the category of niche. You know what I mean? Because that's all they're doing is making sense.
Well, technically, yeah.
Like, and I hate to say it, it's weird, but like even Lattafa plays that weird area where They do a lot of dupes, but then they also do a lot of originals. So are the originals technically niche?
Well, and they're hiring.
What line is that? You know what I
and
mean?
they're hiring master perfumers now too.
I know, that's the thing. They're hiring perfumers that are working for niche brands. They're using niche ingredients. They're using niche presentations.
It's wild.
What is it? What do we call it? And then now people are just calling it Middle Eastern fragrances, right? But that's a huge broad because, well, there's niche Middle Eastern, and then there's dupe Middle East. So what is it?
Yeah.
I think we need to figure that out, right? Like,
well, which to me, which kind of you're right. We need to come up with a name because I need people to understand this too. Because, okay, even though I said I wasn't going to talk about this,
yeah.
I used to work as a brand manager for Afnan.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I tell people all the time, you cannot put Afnan, Latafa, Armaf with Amouage, Spirit of Dubai, Arabian Oud. You can't. It's night and day. So.
But the thing is every once in a while they'll release something and you go, what the hell, man?
What is? Yeah.
This is crazy, and it's $40. And
the
as a fraghead, the presentation's on point. It's beast mode performance.
Yeah,
it's crazy longevity. It smells incredibly high end. But then at the same token, they'll sell something else that you smell and go, oh, the heck, you know what I mean?
Hell no.
So it's so polarizing. You have to know, is this, but that's the crazy thing is one of my favorite things to do is go to TJ Maxx and go through the bargain bin because you'll find all kinds of crazy stuff.
It's true.
I mean, I bought scents that I'm like, $10, what is this? And then I'll smell it and go, whoa, this smells, you know what I mean? Crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then I'm like, and everyone's just walking by it. They've marked it down 8 times to $3. And I have to get this. Not only that, I'm buying all the bottles because I need to get everyone else on it. But so it's wild that and then at that point you're like, I can't call this. I don't know. I don't know what to call this because it's so wildly all over the place. I think what has happened, and this is what I think. I think what has happened now is we've broke the fourth wall, which is for years there was always categories with fragrances. But we're becoming so creative. Things are so outside the box now that we can't put anything in a box anymore.
It's true.
We can't label anything because the creativity is so insane. And also a lot of these brands kind of come out cloning other scents to get on the radar, but then they're like, "Hey, we have more money than that guy. Why don't we start making our own stuff?" And doing what works, which is putting out this crazy presentations, high-end juice, and then still competitively pricing. Here's what I think is going to happen. And let's look back at this 5 years from now. So this may be a prediction. The designers and the niche brands are going to have to raise prices so that they can continue to make the money they're currently making to please their investors. But what they're going to realize is they can't compete with these outside companies. So they're going to have to eventually pivot and start creating cheaper scents and also getting more creative with presentation and also leaning into the virality of what's happening on social media with influencers. And it's going to completely change the face of the industry. And it's going to drive further creativity and make fragrance way more accessible for everybody.
I totally see that, bro. It makes total sense. And
companies like Chanel who lean on their exclusivity, their bouginess, their expensive vibe, people are opening their eyes to the fact that this stuff is not what rich people wear. It's not. This is for the working class poor.
Yep.
Everyone knows that if you buy this, they're not selling to millionaires. They are selling to lower middle class people that want to look rich.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that in a bad way. What I'm saying is they know their market. Same thing with Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton is not selling their products to the wealthy. They are selling their products to the working class poor. And it's kind of a hustle. And we're all getting onto it. If we want to deny it, whatever. But if you're rocking a Louis Vuitton bag, it's just a blaring. When you live around true wealth, like old money, that kind of thing, they're not wearing stuff like this. They're not rocking stuff like this.
So
it's just not happening.
Let me tell you. So I know the owner of a particular brand. I'm not going to say who it is, but but they're not based in the States.
Mm-hmm.
And you would and like I said, I've been around the guy, very humble, the way he dresses, and you would never think, if you saw him walking down the street, you would not go, hey, yeah, that guy owns a very popular brand. And it's like, and it's crazy to think, because you look at him and he's just rocking like a white shirt or just regular jeans, not wearing any jewelry, nothing. And
look at Mark Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg, perfect example. What does he wear? Simple, regular little chain, not a bougie chain, just like a cheap, like $5 chain, white t-shirt, jeans, and he has a haircut. That's it. Look at Elon Musk. Same thing, right? Simple, plain. Look at Adam
Sandler.
Adam Sandler's another one. You know, he wears the jerseys and the shorts and Nikes, right? People with true wealth, they don't need to let anyone know they're rich. Matter of fact, it's unsafe to tell people they're rich because they now have assets they need to protect. So they're not out, they don't value, there's zero value in or need for any kind of validity. They don't need to be validated.
You know what's funny? And we're gonna go off a little bit on topic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like, okay, so I love hip hop. Hip hop's my favorite music.
Oh, absolutely.
Whatever. Now you constantly hear about it. These guys getting their chains snatched and everything. Why are you going into an area that you don't know about anyways, and you're wearing a ton of? I'm not saying that they should be getting robbed. Obviously, I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
but you're putting yourself as a target out there.
Oh, absolutely, wearing all that jewelry. But here's the crazy thing, right? Here's what's coming out. I don't know if you watch a lot of like other podcasts and stuff, but I watch a lot of stuff where you're finding out now that these artists that were literally bragging about money and bitches and all this stuff, they weren't making money the whole time. They weren't making shit.
That's true.
Dude, they were making like 10 grand, 20 grand a year. Some of them, like maybe they might make 100K up front, but that was like all the money they ever got. And you see them in public and you're like, oh, this is a celebrity and everything. But they're really living in like a studio apartment and like, you know what I mean? And the thing is, when you reach that level, all of a sudden what happens, this is the crazy thing. When you reach the level where everyone thinks you're rich and you're really not, that's a hard place to be because then who are you going to call when you can't buy groceries? What are you going to call your friend and be like, hey, man, I got no money for groceries? Bro, you're rich. What are you talking about? You're a multi-million-dollar selling. Yeah. What do you need? Dude, I ain't got shit. It's like, dude, you work at McDonald's. You make more than I do. That's the crazy thing. You know what I mean? Like
people don't realize that the like for
and
artists,
those dudes can't walk into a McDonald's and get a job because they're so famous.
Well, they're fronting you the money, and you got to recoup it. So
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like if you're not selling records,
but even when they do, like they give you the 100 grand. Let's say you recoup 10 million, but the way your contract works, everyone gets a cut, exactly. And at the end of the day, you end up paying out money. Like it's crazy.
It's crazy. People don't.
And the thing is, it puts you, like I said, in a weird place because you now can't borrow money from anyone. You can't get a job publicly because, like you see it, like you've seen those news stories. So-and-so from this TV show was working at Target. And it's all over the news, right? And now here's the problem. The boss at Target's looking at going, well, I hired this guy because he was down and out, but now he's bringing all this attention to our store. I have to get rid of him. So
funny you say that. So many years ago, this is like in the, how old was I? Hold on, I'm trying to think how old I was. It was like the late 90s. I worked at a restaurant. It was my first job. And one of the bartenders was, and I think that was the name of the show, it was Sweet Valley High. It was like these two twins that were doing. So one of them that played the boyfriend of one of the sisters of the twins, he was working at the restaurant I was at. And I'm like to myself, bro, like, you're on TV. I know who you are because I see you on like these early morning programs. Like, what are you working at the restaurant for? And he didn't go too much into it, but he's kind of like, it's not what you think. That's why I'm here.
It's not big money. Like, the people at the top, they're making money.
Yeah.
But everyone else, like all the people you see on TV regularly, especially character actors.
Oh yeah.
They don't make nothing.
They don't make nothing.
But they're the ones that have the most presence. Everyone remember those characters.
Yeah.
Everyone does. And like, the thing is like in movies, you make money for what, like 2 weeks, and then the rest of the year you're making nothing. So, people see that movie, oh, it's been out for 6 months, it's in the theaters, it's doing this. It's the industry making that money. The actor only made money for the 2 weeks they were filming. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like they're getting huge money.
Exactly.
And like, it's like any industry, especially even our industry, right? Like us as influencers, they look at us and go, oh, he's got 50,000 followers or 100,000, must be making bank. What are you talking about? Like, this ain't Mr. Beast money. Like, you know what I mean? It like, oh, I'm sorry. A company sent me a sample of a bottle to review for you. I get to wear it now 6 times, or they sent me a bottle, right? Oh, they send you a bottle. Dude, this bottle cost them like what, $4 to make, another $7 to ship. They got what, $12 in it on marketing to send me the bottle. And I'm sitting on all these bottles looking bougie, but we don't have a lot of money. Like, I'm hustling, working literally like 80 hours a week doing this. And I'm lucky sometimes to make any money that week, and sometimes I make a good amount of money. And then there's weeks I make nothing. There's no consistency. There's no, I don't have, I don't get medical insurance from this. I don't get 401k. I don't get retirement. So, it's either make it or don't. And it's hard. Exactly. And there are the weeks where you don't make anything. And you have to buy all this equipment and everything else. So, it's a hustle. But at the end of the day, it's like, we have to understand that not everything people do is for the money. And I know so many influencers that have hundreds of thousands of followers, sometimes millions, that still have other jobs because they can't survive on this.
Yeah.
So, and people recognize us in public. They go, oh, you're so-and-so, that you're the fragrance guy. Cool. Yeah. I'm not rich. And it's just like any other person you recognize in public from TV and stuff. We're not, not everyone's rolling in dough just because you've seen us on TV.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's crazy. It's a weird thing how we assume that fame equals money.
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
It actually probably means that if you're not wealthy, you're almost damned to make no money.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Which is why you see a lot of like child stars and stuff, right? Like they get really famous really fast, and then the rest of their life they're homeless and drug addicted. It's crazy because they're literally damned because they're remembered only for this one thing, and they can't get a job nowhere because, like, oh, I want to be a realtor. Did you know that realtor is so and so from whatever show?
Yep.
You can't do anything without that being the topic of every conversation.
Yeah.
So you can't be productive for anyone. What do you do in that situation?
It's true.
It's just crazy. Anyway, let's talk more about you guys. We kind of went off on a tangent there, bro.
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, I got a kind of weird question.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So you said you're originally from LA, right?
Originally from LA, yep.
And then you said you lived in Texas for a while. You told me you lived in Texas for a while, right?
For just up until about a month ago.
So what brought you to Texas originally?
So it was because of work, because I had a job as a brand manager. So I moved over for that.
Yeah.
and then up until about a month ago. So now I live in El Salvador.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna ask how that happened, but so are you getting like are you gonna be a citizen there? Like are you just
Working on it. Yeah, yeah. Like so okay, so like luckily, like my because I have family because my wife's family is well, so my
yeah.
wife's Salvadorian, she has family here and stuff. So, they're gonna and they're gonna help me out with the whole process and everything. So yeah, I will become a citizen. My plan is to become a citizen here.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love it
Are
out
you
here.
going for dual citizenship or are you just gonna
I don't even know. I mean, whatever they're gonna once we get because you got to be here for a certain amount of time before then like the whole
yeah.
process
So how do you
begins.
feel about that potentially not being able to come back to America? Are you okay with that or
Well,
does that scare you a little bit?
let me tell you. No, no, it doesn't scare me. I mean, it sucks in a way because yes, all my family and friends are in the states, so
Yeah, for
that
sure.
part sucks. Yeah, yeah, that would be potentially shitty. But okay. So here's the thing. Ever since I was in my 20s, I always wanted to live abroad,
Yeah.
travel, live abroad. Um, And so I always felt I never did anything about it. And now I'm in
Yeah.
my 40s. So now you're talking about something that I've been wanting to do for over 20 years and never did.
Mm.
Now have the opportunity came up and I'm kind of like, you know what? If it means that I can't ever go back to this, I'm sure I could go visit, but if it means like I can never live in the States again, I'm cool with that. I mean, it is what it
Yeah.
is. I lived there for 42 years. I lived in the States. I'm cool with it. I wanted to
Yeah.
experience. I wanted to experience the world. Like, let me tell you, up until here, and shout out to my boy Niles because Niles is the reason why I went to Puerto Rico last summer. I had not been anywhere international. I've
Yeah.
been to different states, New York, Florida, Texas, obviously because I lived there,
Yeah.
Vegas, Nevada, but I had never really been international.
Mm.
So once I went to Puerto Rico, it kind of opened my eyes and say, man, like this is something I wanted to do for so many years and I
Well, I
didn't.
mean, technically, Puerto Rico is still kind of America, right? I mean, like
Which, yes, it
technically, I
is,
mean, I'm just
but
saying. But yeah,
you
different culture and everything. Yeah.
different culture and everything. But it kind of wanted me to go out there and explore. So, like I said, moving here, I will be traveling. I'm already, my wife and I are already making
Yeah.
plans about taking the trip going to Guatemala. You
Oh,
know,
no doubt.
I have, I know people in Uruguay, in Argentina, in
Mm.
Colombia. So I want to go all those places. I don't,
Yeah.
I want to experience the world, man. One thing that's on my bucket list because I'm a soccer fan. Soccer's not my favorite sport, but it's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And my favorite team is Barcelona, and what I've always wanted to do is go to Barcelona and watch a game live.
Yeah.
That's on my bucket list. That's something I told my wife we're going. I'm like at
Mm.
one point we're going, and maybe you don't like soccer, but we'll watch it live. So I want to
Yeah.
do that. I've always wanted to go. Hockey is my favorite team sport. I've always wanted to follow the Kings when they make that road trip in Canada and
Yeah.
go to the city, go to every game that they're playing on the road. Now, that's something I want to do now, and now
Mm.
I make plans on doing that. So
Yeah. That's
I don't
cool.
mind it if I mean, as long as I can still visit, family in the U.S., I'm cool with that. But if it means not living
Yeah,
here, it is what it is.
no doubt. No, I think that's super cool, man. I'll be honest, like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm strange. Like, I don't know. That's hard for me because as much like I want to travel for sure at some point. Like, I want to travel and see the world because I watch so much about different cultures and I'm fascinated by it. And I'm also fascinated by world history. And I guess because living in America where we're such a young young nation, I want to go somewhere where there's deep history and you know what I mean, where I can
Yeah,
trace that and see it and touch it and feel it and smell it. Like that to me excites me, you know? Just to be able to experience like to go to Egypt and
the
see the
pyramids.
pyramids and walk where, to go to Israel and, see all of the history there and I mean, there's so many places to go to India and
Yeah,
see the Taj Mahal, like, all these things that I watch, and I'm like, I would love to just see what that would be like, to go to Italy
the Colosseum.
and
I mean,
oh, absolutely, man, it's
uh,
crazy. Like
it's
you
crazy.
see it on TV or whatever, but also you don't know like what's legitimate because I mean, you got the media telling you one thing, But then you go and it's like your eyes open to this whole new thing, that's like, whoa, So that's what I'm like most excited about because I'm a learner. I love learning
Yeah.
and I don't take anything at face value, which is why I don't really get in arguments about politics and all that because like I don't see the world through your eyes. So I can't tell you whether you're right or wrong because I haven't walked in your shoes. But I'm willing to listen and hopefully understand from your point of view the way you see things. And then, so I guess I don't want to say I'm less opinionated. I certainly have opinions, but I also understand that my opinions are not facts, right? So I'm very like I'm a bendable clay. I'm always learning new things, and I may have a belief on one side of this fence, but then I may talk to someone else, and then my opinion may lean to another side based on new experiences, new life things. You know what I mean? Some people are just very black and white, and that's just never been me. And I believe, just simple, pure truths, which is that, be kind, be good to people, just be a good person.
Yep.
Don't be a dick, and good things will happen, right? Like that's just pure truth, no matter where you are.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I've always wanted. Let me tell you, I know people that are millionaires, and I know people that are just getting by, just barely. And I don't look at anybody differently because to me, it's all about how we treat each other.
Exactly.
I will always show you respect. If you burn me, then I fuck you and we're done. And I don't care where you are in life. It doesn't matter.
Well, for me, like,
like
for me, like if someone wants to burn me or troll me or scam me, look, I understand everyone's got a thing, that's their hustle, whatever. But at the end of the day, like I'm trying to keep my energy positive. If I find that you're not positive energy, I'm just not gonna put you in. You're not gonna be in my life. It's just that. Bye.
There you go.
Bye. I'm not gonna burn bridges with you. I'm not gonna be vindictive. I'm not gonna destroy you. I'm simply gonna cut you off, which, in my opinion, is way worse. Right? You know what I mean? So that's the biggest punishment. Is just boom, you're done. We're not. It's not. There's no more. I'm not entertaining this anymore.
Yeah. Like I had a friend recently. Like so it was three of us. We were friends. We've been friends for like. I want to say it was like 20 years. We talked every day. And one day, one of the dudes just got weird on me and the other guy. And his problem was more with the other guy. But still, and I'm kind of like, bro, like, we've been friends for so long. Like, we fucking talk every day. Like, we're closer to us than your own family. Like, so then when me and him didn't really go into it, but he kind of cut me off too. And I'm just like, all right, deuces, bro. Like, fuck you. You wanted to waste 20 years of friendship. It is what it is, bro. I mean, I know me and my other friend, and we still talk. We know we did nothing in this. So if this is the route you want to go, and you wanted to cut this 20 years of friendship off, that's on you, bro. Deuces. Like I mean, I haven't spoken to him,
But I mean, also understanding that sometimes people are just having a bad day or a bad time. I mean, things happen, right? So, I mean, I'll always leave a door open if but you have to come with look, if you came with me with dark energy, with whatever, and you burn a bridge, cool. I'm not saying you can't re-enter my life at some point, but I'm also saying you got to change the energy. You got to apologize and recognize you were wrong and be willing to, work on things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to get too much into this, but like my dad, I shouldn't say this. But, okay. So like my family, right? They have this weird thing where they could just cut someone off and just never, it's done, right? It's forever done. And it's happened in my family. It's, with family members, with friends. It's just always been a thing where it's like, okay, this person is now cut off, never to, it's just, it's like permanent. And I can't function that way, right? I can cut someone off for a very long time, but also with the understanding that if they were to come to me at any point and say, look, can we talk about what happened? I was wrong. Let's, I'm willing to open up and talk about it and figure this out. Of course, I'm going to give them that chance because I believe in forgiveness at whatever capacity. I believe that everyone should have it because I've done things like that before where I may blow up or do something stupid and and then someone may hold a resentment against me, and then like down the road I realize, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. I missed that person, and then I go to try to repair it. So I believe that everyone should have that ability.
Yeah, I respect that. I mean,
Especially after 20 years of friendship. You know what I mean? But that being said, like some people just have that very like once it's severed forever, and I could never be that person. But at the same time, once again, I don't like surrounding myself with negative energy. So if your energy is negative, it may not be permanent, but right now you're not welcome in my life because you're bringing wrong energy. Once your energy has changed, you can absolutely be around me. You know what I mean? So that's really just how I live is I don't permanently cut people off, but I will cut them off long enough until they can just come at me with better energy. That's all it is.
I respect that, bro.
Yeah. But anyway, man, dude, thank you so much for coming on. This has been fun. I know we didn't get in too much. We have like 10 minutes left. So let's just talk a couple cents because I know we talked about, I mean, this is a fragrance podcast, right? It's Memorial Day. Hold on. It's Memorial Day. The sun's out. It's been raining for like 2 weeks here in New England.
Damn.
We finally get a sunny weekend. It's not super hot, but it's mid 60s. It's sunny. It's not raining. Beautiful Memorial Day weekend. Kick off of summer. Let's talk a couple summer scents. What do you got around you right now that you like to wear in the summer?
Well, this was what my day. So okay. So now here's the thing. So I moved. I don't have all my scents now.
Okay,
they're in boxes and they're coming, but I do have some.
Yeah.
So what I do have, I'm like, man, there's been a few that I've been like, I was so excited that they came. I mean,
yeah, no doubt.
I wore this the other day. I wore this today. This is City Rhythm San Diego. Now, let me tell you this, okay? Yeah. I love City Rhythm. Forget Niles is just a great guy. Just forget that part because he is an amazing guy. He's one of my favorite people. He's become a friend. It's beyond fragrances now. Like we're beyond. We're friends. But man, this dude's got amazing fucking sense. If you guys have not tried City Rhythm, you have to. You're missing out if you haven't. But one of the ones that I feel flies under the radar, and this is actually my sister's. My sister has become more obsessed about fragrance because of me. Yeah. And this is her favorite scent, and this is San Diego. Bro, it's always warm here in El Salvador. I mean, it is always warm. Yeah. So the citrus, the blood orange you get in here, the salty vibes, the vanilla. It's like a perfect beach scent, but I think because Miami Tropical Confession, Puerto Rico, 2654, they kind of overshadow this. But this is, and I've been rocking. Like I said, I've been rocking it. I forget how good it is, and I see why it's my sister's favorite scent. So this is my scent of the day today, and I love it. Like I said, I'm waiting for all the other ones to come in because I only have Rhythm in this one that came in this shipment. So I'm waiting for the other one. But this one, love it.
Yeah.
Niles,
dude, that's a house that like I remember when Puerto Rico came out, everyone was hyping it, and I was like, I gotta try this, but like I just it wasn't when I pulled the trigger. I guess because like I just had so much other stuff coming in at the same time. There's so many houses that fly under the radar. I just don't try because literally I don't have either the money or the time to put into everything that comes out. But I've always been intrigued by City Rhythm because like I love the vibe and also like. Who wouldn't want? Yeah, I mean, it's just the notes, everything sound amazing.
And he's dropping a new fragrance, which I can't wait in next month. Martha's Vineyard. So,
that's I got to try that because that's my.
You got to try that.
Of course, man. All right, so the one that I pulled out, I know you kind of poo-pooed this one, so we're gonna talk about it because like I think this is kind of funny, and I also agree to an extent. I'll explain why. But this fragrance is by a house called Scent Journey out of Florida. And this is Cocktails and Catamarans, which, by the way, this is the new presentation, so you can kind of see, like, they got this. I like this aesthetic. It's a 50 ml bottle. I think the biggest they come in now. But it's a straight to parfum. I like this vibe. The juice is, it's not too dark. But, so what's it smell like? So, it's very simple. It just smells like pina colada.
Pina colada.
It's just like, literally just rum, coconut, pineapple.
Yeah.
Very basic. That being said, it is a very basic scent profile. But if you're just someone that loves pina colada and you were always looking for like, what's the best pina colada scent? It has to be this. Like, there's nothing better on the pina colada vibe than this. That being said, the only complaint I have now, I love this because it does smell like a high end, elevated, very 100% authentic, realistic pina colada. But I do kind of agree with what you. I think maybe the reason, I'm not sure, the reason you don't love it is because it's really just one thing. It's just pina colada. It's not very nuanced. There's nothing exciting or interesting or intriguing about it. It literally is what it is. So, is that your complaint, or what's the reason you don't love it?
I don't know. Maybe it just didn't work on my skin. Like, I wanted to love it because I love pina coladas, but it's just.
Is it the sweetness, the level of sweetness, maybe?
I think it might have been that, man. It just was, it just wasn't. Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, it's hyper gourmand. It's hyper gourmand.
Yeah.
And also, some people don't love the gourmands, or they like darker gourmands or whatever. It's the quintessential summer gourmand. It's literally exactly what it says it is. It's pina colada, right? It's pure pina colada. Here's what I wish, and I would like to see this, is I'd love to see a Cocktails and Catamarans elixir where maybe they add something a bit more nuanced to it.
Yeah.
Here's what I think would work really cool with this, and maybe see if you agree with me. I'm not a perfumer. I don't know if they could pull this off. I feel like if they were to add some marine and salty accords to this,
that would make it, I think it would balance it out a little bit.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because like that, I think it needs that. It needs something a bit more on the summery oceanic vibes. This is really, and also maybe tone back on the sweetness a bit.
Yeah.
I feel like that, something a little more fresh, a touch less sweet, with a bit of marine and, salty vibes. I feel like that would make this really nice. I don't think it would need to be stronger because it's certainly strong enough already.
Yeah.
I would almost dial it back a bit, give it a bit of freshness, a little more. Yeah. Also, I think maybe like it definitely doesn't need a bergamot or a lemon, but I think a good citrus note for this would be Chinoto. I think adding a touch of Chinoto and a bit of marine and salty. If you guys are listening, Scent Journey, try it. Just play with it and see what comes from this. And if it works, send me a sample so I can review it and then go ahead and market it. And then, cut me my 10%. And
yeah,
I'll be
exactly.
Happy. I'll be happy, guys, all right? Cut me my 10%. That's the finder's fee, and then I'll be happy. I don't care. But
we got time for a couple more or no?
Absolutely. Let's keep going, guy.
Okay. So, man, I'm like trying to. Okay, I wore this the other day. I hadn't worn it in a minute, but if you love coffee, I love coffee. I'm obsessed with coffee.
Of course.
La Tacita de Cafe from Day 3 Fragrances. I don't know if you've tried this.
I've heard of it.
Let me tell you, okay?
Yeah.
So far from what I've tried, this is the best coffee fragrance on the market. I wore this the other day, and let me tell you, I feel like it's gotten stronger because originally I didn't see it as this potent, but the other day, and it could be because like it's the heat of El Salvador, but the other day I wore, my wife was like, "Yo, this thing is projecting and it's strong as hell." And I don't know, when I rocked it in Texas, it wasn't projecting like that, so I don't know what it's been, but bro, this is literally the best coffee scent that I can put my nose on.
So, other than coffee, what else are you picking up
Vanilla, from that? You definitely pick it up. It sounds simplistic. There's more to it as well, but this is what I pick up. But just the way it's blended.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's the thing. One thing I will tell you, and I don't really usually buy into hype. When people say, "Oh, this fragrance is absolutely amazing," blah blah blah, I was skeptical at first because I heard every reviewer talking about Day 3. It was what's his name? I forget the guy with the. Oh my God, I forgot his name. He was always talking about it. And Justin, what's his name? I forget his channel name. Justin Copeland.
Yeah.
So
I think it's just Justin Copeland.
Yeah. Okay. So again, I don't really watch him, and sometimes I kind of, when I see the bigger names and they talk about stuff, I'm kind of like, whatever. So he had mentioned this, and I heard some other ones talking about it. So I was like, let me see. So they were kind enough. They sent this over to me, And like I said, I'm not one that usually falls on hype. And I told brands even that have sent me stuff like, "Yo, this is not good." Okay, so just it is what it is. I keep it real. But bro, when I literally heard, when I agree with this sentiment that this is the best coffee fragrance, the hype that Day 3 has gotten is beyond deserved. This house is killing it. They have some new scents. I haven't tried them yet, but like La Tacita de Cafe Bani, Amber Dominicano. I mean, there's so many fucking good ones, bro. If you haven't tried Day 3, try. But this is the best coffee scent. La Tacita de Cafe. It's
so I didn't pull out any,
but.
So I didn't pull out any coffee fragrance, but I'm gonna grab one because now I want to talk about my favorite because I have one that I'll pull. Hold on, give me 1 second. Hold on.
All right, for sure.
All right, so this is one that kind of pulls at my heartstrings because I think I told you I'm from New Orleans originally, right? And this perfumer is quintessential New Orleans perfumer. Actually, he lives in Texas right now, I think, but originally from New Orleans. And this fragrance is called Cafe Beignet. And the whole vibe, even the coloration, everything, it's Cafe du Monde in New Orleans, okay? It's quintessential Cafe du Monde. That's the inspiration behind it. And this is actually the old presentation. I think he's updated the presentation bottles. But this one is by Hez Parfums. This one's Cafe Beignet. Bro, it literally smells like donuts, like cafe, donuts and coffee. It's vanilla. Oh, it's so nice, man. It's so nice. Just a beautiful gourmand coffee. And the coffee in this is not overly, it's not a dark coffee. It's a very, that's crazy, dude. How it's a bit, it's similar that it's that vanilla, it's that the yeasty donuts, a little caramely, like it's sweet, it's coffee, it's got a little bit of a bitterness, but really well balanced. This is beautiful, and it sparkles off your skin. You know what I mean? I love this so much, and it's also incredibly unisex. But yeah, this is probably one of my favorite coffee scents. Have you tried anything from Hez or?
No comment. I'm gonna plead the fifth. I'm gonna plead the fifth on that.
I get you. Yeah, I mean everything. We all got.
I've tried a lot of his stuff. I'm not a fan of his stuff.
No.
Like outside of Bourbon Street and Plum Confixture, the rest of them just did not work for me. I get you. I had this one.
Yeah,
it was not a go for me.
I get you. I mean, look, we all got a different opinions. That's the beauty of
that's what fragrance.
That's the beauty of all this. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, sometimes things work for us, sometimes they don't. Sometimes personal things get in the way. But you know what? I like this. I love Bourbon Street. I think that one is probably the best from his house. Really,
I think Bourbon Street's the best one from his house.
I'm excited. He has a new one called Jackson Square. I'm excited to try that one. I don't know, but let's kind of move on. So this one, actually, I wanted to talk about real quick because this is like the newest from Acqua di Gio, and this one's Elixir. Have you tried this one at all? The new Elixir?
I have not. I wanted to.
Yeah. So I feel like every flanker they always try to compare to Profumo because I think Profumo was like
I love Profumo.
In everyone's mind was the pinnacle of Acqua di Gio.
I agree.
Also, I think the reason they pulled it wasn't because it wasn't selling. I think they had to pull it because if they left it in the line, nothing else would sell. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I love Profumo. I hate that it got discontinued.
I had a similar situation. I went to Wendy's one time and I asked them, I'm like, how come you guys got rid of your honey? It was like their honey mustard or something. They discontinued it. And they said, well, because it wasn't because people weren't getting it. It was because too many people were getting it. They were like, we have to stock all these different sauces. And like 75% of the people would just get this one sauce, which meant all this other stuff was just sitting. So instead of wasting it, they had to get rid of the really high performing one so that they could consistently move all of the sauces. Does that make sense? So
I get it. It
sometimes,
sucks,
unfortunately, they don't discontinue a product because it's not moving. They may discontinue because it's moving too well. You know, it's kind of like there has to be balance in any company. If it's underperforming, get rid of it. If it's overperforming, sometimes you gotta get rid of it.
it sucks.
Um,
You should have left it. You left it
I know.
alone.
No, I get you. I feel you. That being said, this is the closest to Parfuma I think they've ever gotten. Also, I mean, I think the Parfum was getting there, but also that had a touch of this greenness that I liked. This one is very close to Profumo,
Ooh.
but stronger. And the reason it is because it has this leathery undertone.
Ooh.
They've added a leather note.
I need to try it then.
But here's the thing. It doesn't go in a dark direction. It's not a dark Acqua di Gio. When I saw this originally marketed, I thought, okay, are they coming out with a dark Acqua di Gio? Like a date night Acqua di Gio or a... No. This is incredibly fresh. Incredibly... It's... If you've smelled Acqua di Gio, you know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah.
But what they've done is they've just elevated the ingredients. They've elevated the strength. They've perfected it. It has the same, it's just, it feels like Profumo, but perfected.
Damn. All right, I need to try that now.
Also, here's the thing. It only comes in this 50 ml bottle, and it's more expensive. It's the most expensive flanker they've ever released.
Damn.
So that's a hard trip. I think it was like $185 for 50
Wow.
ml, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That being said, if you love Acqua di Gio and you're a collector, buy it. If you're not a collector and you're just looking to buy a Acqua di Gio, I'd probably go with the Parfum.
Okay.
Because that's, in my opinion, the best value for everything. Because the Parfum has the longevity, has the projection, has the quintessential Acqua di Gio vibe, is very much elevated, and it's significantly cheaper than this. But if you're looking for the pinnacle, this is the pinnacle. It's the best release Acqua di Gio has ever done. Wow. And I've owned many, and this is the best.
Damn, that's big.
But it's not. It's just it's hard to justify. And the thing they finally got right was they did a magnetic cap finally.
Oh, finally.
They finally did the magnetic cap, which everyone was waiting for. So it was like, how do we perfect it? How do we give everybody exactly what they want? They did that. But where do you go from there? I don't know. I don't think they can really go anywhere now. I think they're going to have to retire after this one. And that's just my opinion.
Start something else.
Exactly. Anyway, dude, thank you so much, bro. This was a fun episode, man.
Yeah.
We got to get you on again. I feel like we need to get you on again.
I would appreciate that. I'm down.
Yeah, man.
Let me know when. I'm down to do it.
Definitely, dude. Definitely, man.
I appreciate
anything you wanna where can people reach you? Yeah. What are you promoting right now? Yeah.
TikTok, Law Fragrances. On Instagram, I got my account got suspended. So Law Fragrances 2.0. That's on there. YouTube, please, Law Fragrances. I'll have to start recording on YouTube again. Not like
for sure.
I'm getting my stuff back and the shipments are all coming in. I'll start busting out more. And you know what? I always tell people this too, because sometimes I don't see comments.
Yeah.
If you have a question, DM me. I don't mind. To me, look, and I will say this. I know a lot of some reviewers have a big head and they won't answer. To me, you are the ones who give us the opportunity and the platform to keep doing this. So if you have a question and I maybe don't see your comment, it's not purposely. It's just sometimes, sometimes too, I see TikTok, I see someone commented, but when you click, it doesn't show up. I don't know. It's weird. Just send me a DM. If I can get Instagram is probably the easiest way. So if you can send it, if you don't want to, that's cool too. No hard feelings.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But definitely check them out at Law of Fragrances on TikTok.
Appreciate that.
If you guys want to check me out, AFSOM on YouTube, and also on TikTok. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy the summer. Get out there. Get some sun. Get off your phone. Get off the screen. go out and enjoy everything that this world has to offer, because there's a whole world out there and y'all need to experience it. Also, look good, feel good, and smell good. And as always, have a fragrant state of mind.
This has been a Fragrant Mind podcast. Be sure to visit afragrantstateofmind.com or subscribe to AFSOM on YouTube. As always, have a fragrant state of mind.